Have you ever heard of the Battle of the Tennis Court? No, it's not some intense Wimbledon final. It's the story of a lone woman, a nurse, who faced down an entire enemy army and won. This is the incredible tale of Geneviève de Gallard, the Angel of Dien Bien Phu. The year is 1954. The French have been fighting a losing battle against the Viet Minh in Vietnam. Their last stand is at Dien Bien Phu, a remote valley fortress. The situation is desperate. The Viet Minh have surrounded the base, and their artillery is relentless. Inside the fortress, thousands of wounded soldiers lie in a makeshift hospital, a cramped underground bunker. Supplies are dwindling, and so is hope. This is where our story truly begins. Geneviève de Gallard, a 29-year-old French Air Force nurse, was one of the few women on the front lines. Her job was to fly in, evacuate the seriously wounded, and fly out. It was incredibly dangerous work. On March 27th, she landed her C-47 medical plane in the middle of a heavy bombardment. They managed to load the wounded, but as they tried to take off, an artillery shell destroyed one of their engines. They were stranded. The next morning, with the plane too damaged to be repaired, Geneviève had a choice. She could have stayed with the aircrew and waited for a potential rescue. Instead, she walked over to the field hospital, reported for duty, and said, "I'm a nurse. I'm here to help." The commander, initially hesitant to have a woman in such a dangerous spot, quickly realized her value. She was the only female nurse in the entire fortress. The hospital was a living nightmare. It was a dark, humid, rat-infested bunker packed with over 600 wounded men. The stench was overwhelming, but Geneviève wasn't deterred. She got to work immediately, tending to wounds, administering dwindling supplies of morphine, and simply being a source of comfort. The soldiers, many of whom were just boys, started calling her Geneviève. She became their angel, their symbol of hope in the midst of hell. As the siege intensified, the Viet Minh launched a massive final assault. They specifically targeted the medical post. They likely thought it would be an easy target, a quick way to demoralize the French forces. They were wrong. Geneviève had turned that medical post into something more than a hospital. It had become a fortress of the human spirit. When the enemy soldiers stormed the bunker, they expected to find a cowering nurse. Instead, they found a woman who stood her ground, calmly organizing her patients. She had taught the lightly wounded soldiers how to change dressings and care for the more severely injured. When the Viet Minh burst in, shouting, Geneviève didn't flinch. She simply looked at them and said, "Don't shout. Can't you see they're sick?" Her sheer courage and authority stunned the attackers. They stopped. Instead of a massacre, an awkward silence fell. Geneviève organized the evacuation of her patients with a calm efficiency that defied the chaos around her. She made sure every single one of her men was accounted for. Her actions were so respected that even the Viet Minh commander allowed her to continue caring for the wounded after the fortress fell. Geneviève de Gallard became a legend. She spent 17 days in captivity before being released. When she returned to France, she was hailed as a national hero. She received the Legion of Honor and was even awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by the United States Congress. Her story is a powerful reminder that heroism isn't about physical strength, but about the strength of the human heart. One woman, with no weapon but her compassion, turned a hospital into a fortress and faced down an army. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales from history. See you next time.